Time for Peptide Talk, featuring Garrett Pope. Now, here is your host, Joe Zapata.
What's up, guys? I am Joe Zapata. Another week of Peptide Talk with the one and only Peptide King himself, Garrett Pope. What's up, Garrett?
What's up?
What is up, man? Before we get started, please like and subscribe. And if you can, go to equipfoods.com. Look at all the protein needs. They got all the best protein there. Use promo code JerseyJZ and get 15% off your protein needs. All right, Garrett, we got a lot of things going on this week we want to talk about. And first is that bacterial water, it's like trying to order it now. And now Amazon has pulled it off the shelf. We can't find any of it. What do you know about it?
Okay, so again, I'm going to make a point. My name today, and the reason why I put that is, like Nostradamus, I predicted this weeks ago. Okay, and when we had our show about RFK Jr. and the government and all that, and listen, I've seen on online forums and stuff people celebrating. Oh, this is great. Peptides are legal. No. This is not great. The government doesn't legalize anything unless they want to control it. And in 2023, all these peptides, BPC 157, all these good things were made illegal, okay, in 2023. Now, RFK Jr. just, hey, I'm going to legalize it, but that's so the government can capitalize. Now, if they really cared about people's health, the first thing they would do is, why would you take away the bacteriostatic water to mix and the reconstitution solution to mix into the peptides? Okay, that doesn't just get disappeared. Amazon doesn't pull it. Bacteriosticwater.com doesn't all of a sudden make everything unavailable because, they just happen to be out of stock. No, the government put their foot down and said, well, we can't stop the companies right now from selling these things because there's too many companies out there and they're coming in from China and all this. And we have no control over this. So what we'll do is we'll pull all the water. We'll give mandates. You need to listen, Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon. You don't think if the government says to him, listen, this is what we want you to do, he turns around and goes, done. So, you can get your peptides, but good luck getting the water. You contacted me last week. I had about 8 or 9 people the same day within like 2 hours of each other contacting me going, yo, bro, I can't find the stuff on Amazon. I need to get, and it's the same thing. And I told everybody, don't worry. There's ways around this. I got you. Don't worry. Like I told you, I got you. Don't worry. But what they're doing is obviously they're trying to put their stranglehold on things. Mm-hmm. And from what I hear, the next thing they're going to try to do it with is insulin syringes. Now, that's a slippery slope because insulin syringes are obviously needed by people who have diabetes.
Correct.
But the government is talking about doing one of two things. One is either you have to register. If you're a diabetic, you have to register with your pharmacy, meaning the pharmacy will know, they'll have you on record as being a diabetic, and you will get your supply of insulin needles. So they will, sell you your, let's say, every month you have to pick up a supply of 30 needles. They're not going to sell you 100 at a time, this and that, because what they're afraid of is, you're going to sell to, you're going to move it to your friends and this and that. So they're going to give you your month's supply of insulin needles, and that's it. You have to be registered as a diabetic. The other way around it is that they're toying with is, hey, you know what? They can just get it directly from their doctor. That's it. The doctor will order the insulin syringes, and if you're diabetic, here's your stuff, and then you just have to go and pick up your insulin from the pharmacy. That's being toyed with. Now, I'm not saying needles aren't available right now. They are, but that is. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden, a week ago, you woke up one morning and couldn't find water anywhere. If you wake up one morning and go, my God, I can't get needles. So I've been telling everybody, stock up on them right now. That's the best way to do it. Stock up on it, buy a couple boxes of 100. And listen, and there's nothing illegal by saying this, okay? Because it's legal to do. Go to Walmart. Okay, that's the cheapest there is out there for needles. $12.50 for a box of 100. Okay, you go to Amazon, they're like $23, $24. They're more expensive. At Walmart, you go right up to the pharmacy, they'll sell them right to you, $12.50 for a box of 100. I'd stock up right now. I'd buy a couple boxes. What I would do is, now you can't go to Walmart and say, I'd like 4 boxes, please. No. Red flag. So what I would recommend is go to one Walmart, buy your box of 100. Listen, there's Walmarts on every corner. Go to another Walmart, maybe in the next town, the next time you're out, buy a box there. Buy, hit a couple Walmarts, but over by me, there's a Walmart on every exit. So, I mean, I literally can hit a different Walmart all within 15 minutes of me. So you do it that way, stock up. This way you have stock. This way you're good, because this is something that might come next. And, if it is, it's going to suck,
100%. I mean, I can go to my CVS. I can get a pack of, like, they give you a pack of 10. I can go to, Walgreens. They give you a pack of 10. That's all they'll sell you, is a pack of 10 for like whatever, $4 or $5. That's what Walgreens and CVS does. But they can't ask you for a prescription or anything like that. You can get it. You can buy it. Now, what I did is I did talk to someone who told me that this could be a slippery slope as far as even a illegal suing point, because if you are out and you are at a store or something and your insulin drops and you got to grab something and you need an insulin needle and your prescription is not at that store, or they don't have you on file and you're at a different store and something happens to you, you can turn around and sue, maybe, who knows, but
the way around that is, and this is already being discussed, the doctors can literally give, like, if you're a diabetic, they give you a card stating.
Oh, wow. See?
And all you have to do is you can present that card to any pharmacy.
Wow. Okay.
So, trust me, they're coming up. They're talking about ideas. And what worries me is this: when you hear the chatter, when you hear the talk, it's coming. It's coming. You don't hear that, where there's smoke, there's fire. You don't hear the chatter, and then all of a sudden nothing happens. Something's going to happen. So that's why I'm just telling everybody, I'd stock up if I was you. I would have stock of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just play it safe. But and again, that's because the government's trying to control things. Now, you see, they have a hard time, the government, with the peptides, because the peptides, most of them are naturally occurring in your body. So they can't patent those things like Lilly or Merck Medco or all these different drug Organon, all these drug companies. They can't go and patent something that's naturally occurring in your body. How are you going to do that? So that's why they're looking at it going, okay, should we make it legal? Shouldn't we make it legal? They had no problem. See, that's why all the GLP-1s and the GLP-3s, they have no problem patenting all that, because that's not naturally occurring in your body. So all the weight loss drugs, which are diabetic drugs, they can patent without a problem. Oh, they make their money. That's why they're so pissed off with retatrutide being sold. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. If the government could shut down, just completely shut down the sale of retatrutide on the black market, underground, compounding pharmacies, etc., if they could shut that down, I bet you they would leave the rest of the peptides alone. Because the reason why is they're losing so much money to people getting the black market GLP drugs. So that's why, okay, well, this is what we're going to have to do. They would leave all peptides alone, I bet you, if they could just find a way to shut down the GLP-1s. Because as well as I do, that's the real money makers.
Yep.
That's the real money makers. You have to have a niche market. You have to be in the know. You have to really do a deep dive to know what Glow is, know what BPC is. Listen, I 8 out of 10 people that I say BPC 157, they look at me and go, what's that code for? Or if I say Glow, what's glowing? They don't know what that is. You say to anybody GLP-1, oh yeah, Wegovy, they know it. You say to anybody, oh yeah, I heard it, because there's a commercial for it on TV every 2 seconds.
Yep.
Every 2 seconds. You can't watch TV. Listen, every time I have a TV on, if I have a show on, there's 2 things I can guarantee that I will see during that we'll say half-hour TV show. Even there's 2 things. One is a commercial for a GLP-1. And now they're pushing microdosing, which I've been talking about microdosing for the longest time. Okay. But now they're talking about microdosing, because they realize, okay, that's the way to go. Okay. That's the first thing that you're going to see during every single, show, a commercial for a GLP-1, at least one commercial. The other thing that you're going to see during that is a woman pop up in your screen and say, does your vagina stink during the day? If so, get Lumi. So
That's 100% true. I don't know. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do. I mean, I hope they don't go that route with the syringes or none of that, but it looks like it's going to come up next. I think
Yeah.
so. You know,
Yeah,
100%.
unfortunately. And, that's the government. And I talked about it weeks ago, or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. I said them getting involved is not a good thing. People are out there, like I'm on a lot of different forums, okay? And what I have a habit of doing is there's a lot of people misinformed. There's a lot of people that don't have any idea what they're talking about when it comes to these products and peptides. And people are lost out there. And people are saying things, oh, yeah, this is supposed to be for this. So what I do is I put our intro, our 17-second intro, okay, in all these forums on Facebook, and I put every Wednesday, 4 p.m. And then I put the tag so they can you can click on it. It goes right to straight out of Jersey, and you can see the video. And I keep putting the tags on there. If you want to truly learn, watch the podcast. So a lot of people who have no idea who they are, they're contacting me and they're asking me questions through social media and this and that. And they're, like one woman, I went and I did a deep dive and I watched a whole bunch of the shows. Oh my God, you were saying this. And I had a question about this. And a lot of people don't know what these things are. They don't know what they do. And what I try to tell everybody is learn, read. You have enough time in the day. You have enough time at night. You can find time to read. Read up on this stuff. If you're truly interested in this stuff, if you truly want to put it in your body, read about it.
Yes.
It's not that hard. But they rather go online and be told. And what I try to explain to people is, there was a guy online, and I said this to somebody else who listens to this podcast, so they're going to hear this story twice. The other day, I put on there, I said, you make sure it's from an accredited facility with a certificate of analysis. And certificate analysis, or COA, that's what I was talking about from Janoschik Labs. Okay. So make sure it's been tested. Okay. Make sure what you're putting in your body is really what you put in your body. Because I'm going to give you a little example right now of something. There's a scam going on right now. So Glow, and I've talked about this before, is a purplish blue color. Okay. The powder is, and then once you mix it, it's also, purplish blue. It's a nice color. And I try to tell people, what makes it that color is the GHK-Cu. That's the copper, okay? That's what makes it that color, not the BPC, not the TB. Those are white powders, okay? Well, what the popular thing doing now is people are selling GHK-Cu without the other stuff in it as Glow.
Wow.
And to the normal person, to the layman, they're not going to know that there's any difference. They're not going to know unless you specifically know, man, when I use BPC, when I use BPC and TB 500, my God, my shoulders feel wonderful. I have no pains whatsoever. No, nothing. No joint pain. No, my left, everything feels wonderful. When I take time off of it, oh man, it starts to creak in again. You know what I mean? If my Glow, for example, which I know it's not, but if it was fake, I would know it instantly. A lot of these people don't understand, because what a lot of people are doing is they're saying, oh, I'm taking it for the skin tightening benefits. I'm taking it for the skin benefits. I'm taking it. They could care less about the BPC and the TB, and people are selling them fake stuff. Now, GHK-Cu is a lot cheaper than Glow. A lot cheaper. So what people are doing is they're selling people Glow at the, GHK-Cu at the Glow price. Person looks, oh, it's purple. Okay. I'll give you an example. Back over in the summer, I just said this the other day, over the summer, I ran into a guy. He just asked me a couple questions. He goes, I'm using the Glow. I said, oh, that's good. I said, it's phenomenal stuff. And, it's just the way I talk. I go, it's phenomenal stuff. And it's that cool purple color. It's the way I talk. He's joking around. I go, it's that cool purple color. And he gave me a look. He goes, what? And I go, the Glow, it's that cool purple powder. Mine's white. I just looked at him dead in the eyes. I go, then you don't have Glow. I don't know what the hell you have. Glow has to be purple. I'm sorry. There's no other way about it.
Yeah. And I tell people, you have been in this business for a long time. You have all the knowledge, you trained all the professionals and athletes, actors, everyone. You have that industry, you know that knowledge. So if anyone's gonna know, it's gonna be you. That's why I said only you and really Dave Palumbo I go to for certain my first, to find all my needs, because you guys are one of the smartest guys with that stuff. You were involved with a compounding agency, right? You had the all that stuff.
Yep.
So all of that stuff. Another thing I wanted to bring up is what was in the news is we had a bust there was a bust in Chicago, a big bust. I'm gonna pull it up right now, actually, really quick here. All this, what is it, HCH? Here it goes. In March, Chicago, they seized 351 shipments of a cargo, 441 pounds of unapproved growth hormone and steroids. And it says if it was legitimate, these would have been valued at $3.2 million. Jesus.
Now, it's funny they say that. Had they been legitimate, okay? Here's their cute little way of saying that. They're trying to put out there, maybe this stuff wasn't real, it was fake. No, in reality, here's what happened. That shipment right there, okay, I can see just by the way it's packaged, that came from China. That came from China. Anything coming in from China right now, and I tell everybody this, if you're going to have anything coming from China, you better get it UPS cold air freighted to you. That means 5 to 7 day freight. You better get it cold, and cold air freight means it's shipped on refrigeration. Okay? That's how it goes directly to the person, to the vendor, to whatever you want to say.
Okay.
If you don't, and any other package comes in from China, they're inspecting it. Any package that goes through USPS is being inspected. Now, UPS cold freight, different story. That's a rush shipment. They're not inspecting it. If you send a regular UPS package, that's going to be inspected. That's going to be looked at. So that right there wasn't on cold freight. I can tell you right now by looking at it. And number two, I guarantee it came from China. Red flag. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, you can't be doing stupid things. You can't be, importing from out of the country. Gone are the days of importing from Turkey and India and China. And it doesn't exist no more. I mean, it exists, but the clamp down effects are much greater. You're taking such a risk. And what people think is, I hear a lot of people say, I got a warning letter saying my shipment was seized. And I tell people right away, you're done. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, your address is now on the lookout. Okay. They're going to look for any package now. You have any package going to your house. I don't care if you have Bath and Body Works. They're going to be suspicious of that package. They're going to open that package, reseal it, and then put a slip in there saying your package was damaged in shipment.
Please come to the post office and pick it up, and then you go there.
Yes. So what I try to tell everybody is those days are gone. You get a letter like that. That's what happened to Chris Bumstead's sister. Remember I was saying, you can't do that stuff. You can't. Everybody, I see on these online forums too, oh, I get stuff from China. And I'm sitting there going, man, you're playing with fire. They're going to eventually, they're going to get your address, and then you're marked. Once you're marked, they're going to get you with something, okay? Especially if you're getting multiple shipments. Now, listen, if they look in the system, and let's say you just happen to be the unlucky guy that it was your first order from China ever, and they happen to snag that one, and they look and they honestly go, listen, this is the only package he's ever had come in internationally, okay? They don't care. They're going to take your stuff. They're going to send you a letter and say, your stuff was seized. If you'd like it, you can come down and claim it. If not, see you. And okay, consider yourself lucky. Don't go and order again. And I see a lot of these people, do they have reshipment in case my package gets seized? Moron. If the first package gets seized, you're screwed, because they're going to be watching you now. Okay, they're not doing that. It's not that they just turn around and go, oh well, we'll just let the guy do whatever he wants now. No, that's not how it works. So
100%.
And that's that package right there. I can tell you right now, that's from China. And the blue tops, and I've said for years to people, I said, oh, the famous China blue tops. That's HGH right there. HGH China blue tops. That's generic HGH right there, Blue Tops.
Mhm.
Comes right from China.
All right. We got some questions that came in, and we're going to talk a little bit about some fad diets and stuff that came in. So let me just bring up this one question here. Billy from New Jersey. Hey, Garrett, he goes, I think I remember you and Jay-Z from Docs. We talked about it. I don't know who Billy is. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
He said, anyway, what do you think about fasting?
I hate it.
Okay. Why?
You and I have talked about this privately before.
Correct.
Here's why I hate it. If you want to fast from the point you go to bed, I'm just going to throw out there 11 o'clock until you wake up. Let's say 7 o'clock. That's fine. That's your sleep.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. Okay. This fasting that I'm seeing I fast from 8 p.m. until 12 noon the next day. You are eating your muscle. You are going into basically you're atrophying. Okay. Your body's eating its own muscle, because what ends up happening is if you don't have the nutrients, if you don't have the protein. I mean, listen, I'm a different story altogether. I keep little lean body protein shakes in a mini fridge in my bedroom. Okay, and I half the time sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll wake up. Okay, I'll go to bed at let's say 10 o'clock, 10:30. I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the mini fridge, down a protein shake, and then go back to sleep. Now, I don't condone eating carbs or anything like that in the middle of it, but protein, yeah, I've done that for a long, long time, and have a protein shake in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's different. That's how little I believe in fasting. Okay, this fasting from 8 p.m. to 12 noon the next day, it's the most detrimental thing to your body. Now here's the thing: will you lose weight? Of course you will. But you know what? Back in the day, like I've spoken about it with Lakewood Ranch Rejuvenation, when we used to sell people the HCG with the HCG diet at 500 calories a day, they lost weight too. Well, of course they did. Of course they did. Well, the same thing with fasting. If you don't eat from 8 o'clock till 12 noon the next day, of course you're going to lose weight. But the key is this. Are you just somebody that's saying, I don't want to be fat anymore, I just want to lose weight, I feel like a slob? Or are you somebody that is a gym person? Are you somebody that is trying to build muscle, retain muscle, whatever it is? Because if you are, fasting is the worst thing in the world for you. If you are just somebody that's saying, I don't care, listen, I'm not a gym guy, I don't work out, I've never touched a weight in my life, I just want to lose weight, I still don't think fasting is good. But if you want to fast, that's not going to hurt you as much. But for a gym person,
okay,
horrible.
All right, LEC said this from New Jersey. Said, Garrett, I take creatine, DHEA, vitamin C, E, and fish oil. What is your take on vitamins? Should I take?
Okay. Let's see here. I'm just looking over. The only thing I would take out, I'm assuming LEC. Is that a guy or a girl?
I have no idea.
Because it's interesting, because if it's a girl, I would ask, why in the hell are you taking DHEA?
Okay.
That's why I wonder, because I'm looking, LEC could be Ellie. I'm looking at Ellie, but I don't know. I think Ellie with 2 L's is a girl. So
yes.
that might be actually pronounced Eli.
Okay, maybe it's Eli. You might.
Yeah, I think that might be pronounced Eli with a different spelling. So I'm going to go with this as a guy.
Okay, so
that's what we could do away with that. Okay, so let's start. We'll go right in order here. If you could keep that up, that's perfect. We'll go.
Creatine.
My take on vitamins. Yeah, they definitely have a place. I'll tell you exactly what I take, and then I'll go through this list here. Okay. Me personally, creatine, absolutely. Okay. I also, I'm going to break it down in a minute. I'm just going to go through first. Creatine, absolutely, I take. Now, where he's on the vitamin C and the vitamin E, I take Animal Pack by Universal Nutrition. It's got everything in there. If you look at it, it's got every single type of vitamin you can think of. Okay. So it's Animal Pack by Universal Nutrition. It's made for weightlifters, bodybuilders, this and that. Okay. So I take one Animal Pack, with my oatmeal, and so that's got everything in there. Okay. Everything you could possibly think of. I take glutamine, L-glutamine. Okay. I take that separately. Okay.
For your joints?
No, glutamine is actually for muscle building, believe it or not.
Okay.
And I take that year round. And yes, I know the peptides and all this kind of stuff, but the L-glutamine is great for natural muscle building. Okay. Muscle retention. I take turmeric. Okay.
Okay. Heard
Now
that.
the turmeric, with that is a anti-inflammatory and also joint relief.
Okay.
And I tell people that's real important to take. It's
Mhm.
really that's a natural. It's a root. So I take turmeric. Okay, 1,500 milligrams a day. 2 pills. Okay, so I take that daily also. DHEA, no, but I'm going to assume if you're using DHEA, you're not using other things. If you're using stuff, anything, listen, DHEA, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I've seen a lot of people use DHEA and lose their hair from it. and I just tell people, I'm like, it converts to DHT in your body a lot of times, and you'll lose your hair. And so that's why a lot of times, I'm not a fan of DHEA. Okay, I think I took it once in my whole life. It's one of those things like, I tried it. I was like 19 years old. It did absolutely nothing for me whatsoever. I tried it for like 3 months, and I was just like, well, I could be taking this, or I could be taking an aspirin. You know what I mean? Did nothing for me. Creatine. Now, they claim out there, if you look anywhere, gone are the days of, do you remember back in the day, you have to load creatine and then you load it for the first 5 days and then you take a maintenance dose. That was so wrong, it's not even funny. But you go back 25, 30 years, nobody knew that, okay? That has been debunked as complete and total garbage, okay? With the creatine, they recommend, take 5 to 10 grams a day. You want to be taking 20 grams a day of that. Okay. To be effective, you want to be taking 20 grams a day of the creatine. Okay. There's also different types of creatine out there. You want pure creatine. Okay. There's something out there that I use. It's called Concrete. CON/CRETE. So like creatine. So Concrete. It's the purest form of creatine there is. Okay. You'll see it, unlike the other creatines that are a thick powder. This is a very granulated. A very granulated, fine, like almost like a salt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's a little bit different than most creatine, those thick powders. But you want to be taking 20 grams a day. A lot of people take way under that, okay? Way under that. And I tell people now, there's another key I use with the creatine. And a lot of people haven't heard about this. I take my morning dose of creatine. I train in the mornings, okay? So I work out in the mornings. That fits my body. I like it that way. It fits my schedule. So I train in the mornings always. My morning dose of creatine, I take it with baking soda, okay? Now, a lot of people haven't heard of that, okay? You take it with the baking soda. It gives you the most incredible pumps you could ever think of. And I tell everybody, trust me, try it. Try it. Just mix a teaspoon of baking soda. Some people do a tablespoon. I think that's too much. A teaspoon of baking soda in with the creatine. Shake it up well. You'll hear it fizz up and everything. Drink it, okay? In the very beginning, you'll be like, this tastes weird. Trust me, you'll get over that real quick in a couple days. It gives you incredible pumps. I know guys that take just straight baking soda for pumps. You mix the creatine and the baking soda, it gives you even a greater enhancement. Okay. So I tell everybody that's a little trick a lot of people have never heard of.
I heard that with Viagra. You take Viagra before you work out. It gives you a pump too. Is that true?
I've heard that also, but the only thing is, it's really funny you say that. So you go back years ago, okay? And when I first moved down here, and it's funny because I used to train this doctor who he told me that, okay, down here, and he's the one that first told me. He took Cialis.
Cialis, yes.
Before every workout, okay? So he would take it at all time. He would tell me because pump them and this and that. And he's like, trust me, you got to try it. Trust me, you want to try it. And I used to train with this dude down here, and so I tried it, and the dude got really pissed that I kept poking him in the head every single time I had to spot him. So, I stopped that, real quick. He's like, bro, what's going on? I'm like, hey, it's not me. I swear to God. So I stopped that. No, I hear that. I do hear that. But the way I look at that is also, you got to remember something, the Viagra, the Cialis, those kind of things, they raise your blood pressure. They do. They raise your blood pressure. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of something that you're going to go into training where you're going to raise your blood pressure on it is when you work out. And now you're going to take something like that that's going to raise your blood pressure even more. I know a lot of guys do it. I'm not a fan of that. That's me personally. There's other things that can give you a pump, like the baking soda, like the creatine. The other thing, I just think there's too many side effects, other things that it does as far as raising the blood pressure, giving you a woody, stuff like that. And I understand, like, guys have said to me, no, the blood goes to your muscles, not to there, but still you can do other things. So on that, I'm not a huge fan of.
Okay. What about fish oil?
Absolutely has a place. The fish oil is in, I take it with the animal pack, it's in there.
Okay.
It's like a defense. So like all that, like the C, the E, the vitamin, the fish oil, that's all in there. The only thing I take injectable vitamin B12.
Okay.
I tell people the only way to truly get B12 into your body is by injectable. Okay. Doing it by the pill, most of it just pisses right out. So injectable B12, I take that. That's 1 shot a week. That's it. But that I do take. So that vitamin, yeah.
Okay.
And that's really it, that I take. But like I said, most people do the creatine wrong. That's why I try to tell them, you got to up that dose of the creatine. You'll feel a major difference. And they're using creatine for older people now too, for cognitive ability.
Okay.
So it's making their heads clear and think straighter and crap like that.
I got another question here, and this is from Mark M from Lodi, New Jersey. He said, Garrett, when taking Cypionate, what blood work should you monitor, and how often should you check levels?
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months, check
every
levels?
6 months. Some people do it every 3 months, 4 months. Every 6 months is fine. If you get it, before every 6 is fine. You're not going to fluctuate that bad. Okay, every 6 months. If you're somebody who has high blood pressure, and if you're somebody who has a whole bunch of issues with your blood to begin with, then you're going to want to monitor a little bit more. But if you're good, every 6 months is acceptable. Basically you want to be looking at a lot of things. Obviously your testosterone. Your other thing you want to be looking at, what a lot of people neglect is free test. Okay. And a lot of people don't understand what this is. So you have your testosterone, you have your total testosterone. That's your total testosterone number. So let's say without testosterone, somebody's number was 350, and then they get on testosterone and their number jumps to 900. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. Okay. They jump to 900. That's their total test. But that doesn't mean anything. You have to know your free test, because your free test is what is not bound to estrogen. And that means the number for tests that you can actually use. So a lot of people get that total test number, and I go, oh, what's your free test? And they go, what do you mean, what's that? And I said, well, that doesn't really tell you much. I mean, how do you know that half of that test isn't bound to estrogen? So it's not doing you any good. You need your free test also tested, so you know what test is available for use that your body is actively using. So you want it total test, free test, PSA. Okay, that's your prostate. Okay, I tell anybody you want to monitor that also. So you want to keep your PSA number in check. You want to always keep an eye on cholesterol. You want to always keep an eye on blood pressure. Okay, but those are the main things you're going to want to look at.
I don't really think the real doctors know the real test levels, because I know a guy who was he just wanted to get some more juice and some gear, and he was already on it, but went to a general practitioner. They checked his blood, and he goes, well, I think your testosterone is a little bit low. We'll give you something else. Like, I don't think doctors really know what a real testosterone level is.
They don't. They go by the same way I talked about body weight and insurance in the past. They go by a chart. Oh, you're 6'2". Okay, you shouldn't weigh more than 195 pounds. What? Well, they go by the testosterone, and somebody can come in with a testosterone of 260, and they're not clinically low unless they're below 230. And the doctor will turn to them and go, you're fine. Wait a minute, though. Technically, they have a testosterone level of a 72-year-old man, and they're only 38, but they're told they're fine. They're not fine. They're not, for their age, they're not fine. But the doctor just looks at the number and go, you're fine, you're in that number. And that's, but you got to understand, they're also, they're erring on the side of caution because they're afraid, well, if I prescribe testosterone and then something happens to the person, can I be held liable? Because if you go back about 12, 13 years, every time you turn the TV on, there was a commercial for, have you had testosterone? Have you taken testosterone injections and had a stroke? Have you taken testosterone injections and had a heart attack? And that's been proven to be totally false also, okay? All that's, I'll tell you a great story, okay? And he's dead now, so it don't matter. There was a guy down here, okay, who, when I had Lake Ranch Rejuvenation, total party guy, okay? He, total party guy. He actually used to live down the block from me, same block, down the other street. Married, children, but he was a party animal, okay? Always partying. Well, he came to me, Lake Rejuvenation, and he was getting testosterone shots, okay? And he would get his testosterone. And after about 3 or 4 months, his friend, who was also coming to me, comes in one day and goes, bro, so-and-so had a stroke. And I go, what? He goes, he had a stroke. He's paralyzed completely. He has no use of his left side, can't speak, blah, 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 blah. I go, what? What happened? I don't know, you know, whatever. Then about 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, within 2 months, I get contacted by this guy's wife, the guy who had a stroke. I'd like to come in and meet with you and blah, 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 blah. So she comes in and meets and she's asking for the type of testosterone it was, the pharmacy where it was gotten from, the date he was prescribed, all this. Now, I'm smart enough when she came in to turn around and go, yeah, I can't divulge that information to you. He's a private patient. I understand you're his wife, but I still don't have consent. I knew what she was going for. I knew what she was doing. She called me maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Okay, Garrett, I really need that. I really need it. There's no, I'm not looking. I just need that. I need that. Our insurance is asking for it. You know, I bet they are. Okay, so I kept it. No. Well, anyway, make a long story short, this guy who they were trying, his wife, excuse me, not him, his wife was trying to make a case for. He used testosterone and he got a stroke. Well, lo and behold, let's tell the real story. This guy had a sugar baby, okay? He was at the time, I think around 50, late 40s, somewhere around there, late 40s, early 50s. He had a 19-year-old sugar baby that he was banging in his work office, okay? He owned a business in his office. And they were both high on coke. During mid-bang, or whatever you want to say, he keeled over and had a stroke. This 19-year-old sugar baby panicked herself, and instead of helping him, instead of calling 911, she just gathered her things, got dressed, and ran the hell out of there. Just left. This guy never comes home that night. Okay, he's lying on the floor. Okay, never comes home that night. So his wife, what the hell is going on? She drives down to the office. His car's there. She walks in. There he is, completely butt-ass naked, face down on the ground, and there's blood all over the desk.
Wow.
Yeah. So she knew what was up from point one. And when I got that police report and everything, basically she just vanished. Never heard from her again. She never...
But we know the same people. We know the same people that have done the same things, and they're dead today because that all those other party drugs they did a lot of and still did.
Yep.
You know, and you can't mix all of that stuff.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I mean, listen, you can attest to it. I never even smoked a joint.
No. You were very.
I've never smoked a joint in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I've never done a thing. So when I try to tell people is everything that it's been this, okay? But these people are mixing, I can do this. I could jump in this world. I could jump in the party world. I could do this. I can do ecstasy. No, you can't. Your heart's going to blow up. Your heart's going to blow up. Your body can't handle that. And you pick one, or you want to be a party person, then stay in that world. You want to get into this world, then you got to give up the partying.
Yep.
They don't mix. If
No.
you're the rare person that can go out and party completely straight and sober, more power to you. I mean, listen, when I used to go out with Roger and the Mets and everything all the time in the city, okay, to scores and to here and to there, all the different places, I was always the straight man.
Mm-hmm.
I was always 100% straight. While they were just, I mean, let's not even get into it, okay? And I at all times was, you know, the guy that was okay, the responsible one, the
Yep.
straight one, the guy that wasn't coked out of my mind or whatever you want to say. You know?
I mean, I think all the years I know you, I know you over 25 years. I think I saw you maybe take one drink.
Yeah.
Maybe one time, just one time, and you just that was it. You know, I think it might have been for like a New Year's. We were bouncing, and you just took one. That was it. But you
Yeah,
never,
and
you never
I
did
might have
anything.
went like this even.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was it. You were like, oh, whatever. Never drank, never did everything. But we know people who just even as they got older in age, when everyone stopped, they just kept going, and it was like, dude, you can't be doing this, every weekend.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're dead.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's and listen, I know who we're talking about right now, and I've
Mhm.
heard you personally telling this person,
Yes.
"Yo, you got to slow down.
Hmm.
You got to slow down."
Yep. Hmm.
And
Exactly. And
you
he just
know they
fortunately.
didn't, and and I can attest firsthand to hearing you say it. Okay,
Mhm.
I
Yep.
heard you say it several times,
Yep.
and people think, oh, I can just keep doing it. I just keep doing, and eventually it's going to catch up to you.
Hmm.
You can't do that, and that's what this guy was doing. And this guy was, well, I want to look good, but I wanted this and I wanted that. You can't do that. You can't be
Yep.
mixing all this. Oh, that was it. I'm sorry. It wasn't just coke. It wasn't just the testosterone. He also had a very, very high level of Viagra in his system. That's what I forgot. That's what I forgot. It was
And that's
Viagra,
also the
coke.
blood.
Yeah. So then again, he skyrocketed his blood pressure. He's doing coke. He was a ticking time bomb.
Hmm.
He was a ticking
Yep.
time bomb.
Yep.
So, again, like I tell people, pick the world that you want to reside in,
Hmm.
and that's the world that you should stay in.
Yep.
Okay. Don't jump from this to that and be a partier and be a bodybuilder and be a this and be a that. You're gonna wear yourself thin,
Yep.
okay, real
100%.
quick.
I want to go to talk about some fad diets. There's a lot of diets out there that are popping up, and we had the Atkins diet, this diet. What do you think about some of these fad diets?
Garbage.
Okay.
You've got the Atkins, you've got the carnivore diet, you've got the ketosis, that
Hmm.
whole thing. You got
Hmm.
it's one thing after another. You had the HCG diet back in the day. It's always a fad diet. Everybody's looking, and everybody goes, I've been on this diet for 6 days, and I've already lost 8 pounds. Well, congratulations. For 6 days, you didn't eat like a fucking pig.
Hmm.
Great. I'm very happy for you.
Hmm.
Let's keep that up now. Let's see how long you can last that. And what I tell people is you don't have to go on any fad diet. You don't have to go on any crash diet. You just have to eat clean most of the time.
Yep.
That's all it is. You don't need these special diets and all these kind of crazy, gimmicks and all this kind of stuff. Hey, how about you try this? Eat clean majority of the time. And what I mean by eat clean is that doesn't mean if you go out and you want to have something, that's not clean, you can't do it. That's not to mean you can't have a treat every once in a while. That doesn't mean that at all. It means these people that go on these crash diets, they eat, I mean, the worst of the worst garbage all day long, all night long. And then they want to go on this crash diet, and then they don't stick to it because they're not used to eating that. So then they go through sugar withdrawal. They go through, and that's a real thing. Okay. People that take a lot of sugar in, they will go through a sugar withdrawal. Okay. Now, on the opposite side of things, if you don't take a lot of sugar in regularly, like me, if I take something with a good amount of sugar in, holy shit, I break out in a full sweat, like drenched. I start sweating.
Really?
Yeah, don't feel good, feel kind of dizzy, because my body's not used to taking sugar. So if I
Mm.
do, it's not. I know instantly. You know what I mean? So what I try to tell people is, you don't need a fad diet. How about you just eat clean? How about you just try to watch what you eat? How about you just try to meal prep? How about you just try to clean up your eating? Okay. Listen, and I hear people say, and this is the funny thing, oh, eating clean is expensive. What? Let me tell you something. if you really wanted to, you can go to the store, buy packs of tuna and buy packs of the microwavable rice and a box of spinach. And guess what? You know how many meals you have out of that, and you're eating clean.
Mm-hmm.
So don't tell me it's expensive. It's boring. That's what you should say.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's what people should say. Oh, eating clean sucks. Eating clean isn't tasty. Eating clean. And I tell people, I don't eat for pleasure. I eat for fuel. There's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat because, oh my God, this is, I'm not saying if I want to, treat in lasagna or something like that. Of course, I'm going to indulge in that. But once every I'll give you a perfect example. So I have a once a year thing that I do. Christmas Day all the time. Once a year. So I go over by my mom's for Christmas all the time. And she gets the assorted pinwheel cheesecake. So you have all the different flavors and Christmas every year I go there and I have one piece of cheesecake. That's my year treat.
Okay.
That's it. Once a year. And I've been doing that. I can't tell you how long now. I can't tell you how long. Years I've been doing that. And I go by my mom's and I have at Christmas, my mom's, I have one piece of cheesecake. And that is it for the year with stuff like that. You have to be locked in if you want to look a certain way. If you don't care, that's a different story. Now, I'm not asking everybody to be listen, I am regimented. I'm not asking everybody to be the way I'm being. What I'm asking people to do is don't eat like a freaking animal, okay? I mean, I hear people, and this is what bugs me. I don't have time to work out. It's just too much time. But I see you posting on Facebook or Instagram every other day, you out at the bar pounding them down. Or you out on the boat on the weekends. Or you out with all your friends, laughing it up. Wait a minute, you have time to do that.
Yep.
All that time that you're doing that, there's gyms that are open 24/7. You can go there and work out it, okay? Because I hear people, oh, that's at nighttime. Okay, so go to a 24-hour gym if that's when you have time. They don't want to. Or I hear people use the excuse of training or diet is too expensive. That's also complete and total horseshit, okay? And I'm so sick of people saying that, okay? It's the biggest cop-out in the world, okay? Don't tell me that. Don't tell me you have money for other things. You know what? All that alcohol you drink, that adds up. All those nights you go out to eat I don't go out to eat. I don't eat out, okay? For a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't trust other people to make my food, okay? That's the real truth of the matter. And number two, most of the time you go out and eat, you're eating crap, okay? Yep. So I don't eat out, okay? I don't eat out at all. All that money you spend at restaurants and stuff, you could spend that on training or peptides or this and that. Just like I hear the people like I got into last week that say, I don't know about these peptides. They might be dangerous. Cut the crap. Look what you put in your body. Look what you But you know what? It's funny too, and I might piss a few people off here. But you ever notice every single fat ass? I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm not even gonna clean it up. Every single fat ass has a thyroid issue. I have a thyroid issue. No, you don't. You have an eating issue. You have a non-working out issue. It has nothing to do with your thyroid, but they like to say, I have a thyroid issue. Yep. It's a cop-out.
Yep. I wanted to bring up too, and this was something that just came out. I've never been on the bodybuilding stage. You have. I do. It's a lifestyle for me, working out. I've been doing it a long time. And I'm not making fun of this person. The guy was on stage at the Chinese, I don't know what it was. He went up there and went on stage, and I have an idea how a bodybuilder should look like. And, that's why I see a lot of these young kids posing in the mirror and I'm like, oh God, these guys, and I'm like, these guys have nothing. Anyway, this person, I'm going to show you the picture, was on stage and he competed in the, whatever it was, whatever. And look, I give him credit going on stage looking like that. Something I would never do, but I mean, that's what he looked like. And I mean, I don't like what he looked like. Garrett, what do you see wrong with this picture?
All right. Now, looking at that's the IFBB Taiwan, the Olympia. So I'm going to assume he's a pro?
I don't know.
Which is scary. What do I see wrong with it? I'm going to point everything out right now. And I'm going to give positives on this too. Let's go this first. He's clearly natural. Okay?
Okay.
You can see that. He's clearly natural. That's a dead giveaway, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. He actually has some thick quads.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his hamstrings look like, but he actually, if you look at his legs, he's got a good quad base right there. You could tell he's not somebody who skips training his legs. He's got a decent quad base, okay?
Okay.
So I give him credit right there, okay? You go to his upper body. I mean, he's soft. There's a non-existent chest. There's no abdominal wall. He looks like he might do bicep curls. Up around here, the delts and everything, there's nothing. I think he's trying to do a lat spread, but I don't see any lats. There, maybe it was right before he was about to spread them. His coloring is off. If you notice, you go right above his waist right there, above the bikini line. You can see the difference in color. I mean, that's all got to be matched. You know what I'm trying to say to you? You can't have that where you have whiteness showing, and you have to, with Pro-Tan and everything, you have to make sure that's even. And I just picking out of the, just off the top of my head, I can see that. I'm just this got nothing to do with bodybuilding. I don't know what the hell's going on with his hair, but we'll leave it at that. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not of the game. I just said this to somebody earlier today. I am not from the game of, it was on your bucket list to compete. Okay. No. I never competed in my life for fun. Okay. Never. Okay. I competed to win. I'll tell you a story in a minute, but on this, I give him credit.
Yeah.
I give him credit for getting on stage. Where I'm giving credit, I'm looking like that because he has no business being on stage. But then again, I'm going to say this. I know nothing about this man. I'm going to be totally honest. This might be somebody with Down syndrome. This might be somebody with something else going on. And if that is the case and he's up on the stage, then you know what? I applaud him and I give him great credit, because if this is somebody with some type of disability and he's on stage, hey man, you know what? Then you hit a home run, bro. That is great. But if you are not half retarded and you're just a normal person, okay? What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, totally honest. What are you doing? And I'm gonna off of that. I'm gonna give you a great story. So, when I was younger, first met him when I was 17 years old. Strong and Shapely Jim. Greg, I think, might even know him. Joe Bozzella. Okay, he was a lightweight bodybuilder, little short guy, 5'4". Okay, I mean really short. Okay, 5'4", but jack dude. Okay, lightweight. Enormous legs, okay? Enormous. That is where I got ingrained in the leg training with him, okay? He had enormous legs for his size, for everything, okay? For being a lightweight. His legs overpowered his upper. That's where, you know what I mean? He knew Rich Gaspari well.
Okay.
He knew Rich Gaspari well. So Joe Bozzella. So he was from Cliffside Park, okay? So he worked at the Glen Point. Remember the Glen Point in Team?
Yes.
I don't know if it's still around. Okay. He was a long-time trainer at the Glen Point. So him and I met originally, Strong and Shapely, and I don't know. We just kind of hit it off. And he was older than I was. He was like 26, 27 when I was 17. Okay. And he just kind of took me under his wing and basically said, listen, I need a training partner. You want to train, and then our schedules lined up. Okay. Because like I said, I graduated high school when I was 17. So then I was going to college, and what I was doing was I was going to college and then working and this and that. So what I would do is we would train in the morning. Okay. And he had with his schedule, he was able to, we would meet in the morning, we would train in the morning all the time. And he was the first one, bro, you should compete. Bro, you should compete. He would tell me, I'm doing the jersey. Okay. I'm going to be doing the jersey and the lightweights. You got to do it. You got to do it. All right. And that's that photo I put up last week when I was a teenager. Okay. And so I did it, won the team jersey, this, that, fantastic. And him and I became really good friends, training partners, etc. So then there was a show, the South Jersey Wildwood show. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it was the South Jersey Wildwood. So I remember it was in Wildwood. And he said to me he wanted to do that show. He wanted to jump in that show. So he said, listen, He goes, there's no teen class in the show. Compete against the open men. And I had just turned 18. And I was like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. Bro, trust me, trust me, trust me. Well, he kept hounding me. He had other people talk to him, tell him he should compete. Bro, you should do it. You should do it. Your size, you're this, you're that, whatever. Listen, I was 18 years old, and these guys were all older than me. Okay, so impression. Okay, I'll do it. You know what I mean? It's in hindsight, if it was now, I'd be sitting there going, I would never tell an 18-year-old to compete against the open men. I don't care how good, great they looked. You just don't do it. Okay. So I did it. I went down to the South Jersey show and the Wildwood show, and I did it. And open men's, I believe it or not, placed second. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is after winning the jersey as a team. Placed second in the open men's. Okay. Went backstage. Not my proudest moment. Okay. Went backstage. Literally, I must have broke the trophy into maybe 100 pieces. Okay. Literally had a meltdown. Broke the trophy into about 100 pieces. Did not. I was distraught. That's the best way to put it. Like it was like somebody died. You know what I mean? That's the only way to put it. The whole ride back from Wildwood to North Jersey, it was almost like, as he said to me, he goes, it was like you were in a trance. He goes, you didn't say a word to me. He goes, I tried to talk to you the whole way. You literally just stared at the window and didn't say a word to me. He goes, you didn't respond. You didn't. He goes, you were just like catatonic. He goes, we get back to Jersey, this and that. We had met at Glen Point, so he dropped me off at my car. I left, didn't say a word, whatever. Didn't have to see him again until Monday morning, okay? We met Monday morning to train, and I came in to train like an absolute psycho. Like possessed. Like he said, bro, I don't know what you're trying to do today. I don't know if you're pissed off at me, so you're trying to wear me out. You got to calm down. You got to slow down today. He goes, I don't know what you're trying to do. Like a psycho. And I continued that because that messed with my head so bad. I never competed for, and even when I was told by people, Bob Bonham, okay, pulled me aside and said to me, Garrett, you just did your first show ever as a teenager and you won it. You then, a week or two later, I forget what it was, maybe a week, I really forget what it was. You did this against the open men. You took second. I think there was a total of like 12 men. Okay. You took second out of 12 against men. Open, not novice, open.
Mm-hmm.
You were completely natural. These guys weren't. You took second. He goes, that is beyond impressive. I didn't care. Because I was so obsessive. That's the best way to put it. So when I see a picture like that, unless, he's got Down syndrome, something like that, and it's just, hey, congratulations, you got on stage type thing. You know what I mean? He has no part being on stage, no place at all. And that's embarrassing to me. That's absolutely embarrassing. And to go one step further, I'm going to say this. I'm ashamed of what I see. People posting online, people post the competitors nowadays in the NPC shows. And it seems like anybody that works out for 6 months jumps on stage.
Yes, 100%.
And it's shameful. It is shameful. I hold a certain level of hey, you better look like this if you're going to step on stage. You better look. And these people go on stage that I have seen people on the beach with a better body. Okay. And they're going on stage and competing. And I took 6th place. I'm so happy. You're happy? You're happy you took 6th place? Listen, unless you're competing in the damn Olympia, okay, you shouldn't be happy with 6th place.
Right. And it's very easy to get your pro card too today.
Oh my God, yes.
They give them out like candy. It's very easy to get a pro card.
Yep.
Which is ridiculous.
Now they give away, back in the day, remember, you had to win the entire overall USA to turn pro. Now every weight class gets a card.
Boom, boom,
hey,
boom.
Buddy, hey, you compete, you get a card. Hey, all you got to do is show up. We'll give you a card. And I see all these people, everybody, I have BB Pro. And I'm like, where's the standard anymore? You have, and you have a lot of girls 23 years old, 24 years old. IFBB Pro. Why?
Mhm.
Why? What rinky dink show did you do?
Yep. That's exactly
So
what happens.
that also is an insult in a lot of ways. And that's why I got out. Listen, I got out of that scene a long time ago because I'm going to be totally honest with you. It's a seedy scene in general.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure Greg has said this.
Yep.
It is a seedy scene. And what I mean by that is a lot of the competitors do other things. And what I mean by that is a lot of them are into coke, a lot of them into, so they're doing other things, okay?
Mhm.
That's the first thing. I don't condone that, like we just talked about.
Yep.
Second thing is there is an enormous, and I don't understand it, an enormous underground swinger community involved with bodybuilding.
Yeah. Gay for pay,
Enormous.
all that stuff. Gay for pay and all that stuff.
Gay for pay. Yes. Remember, okay, I trained with him for years. You'll remember this. Remember John Riggins?
Yes, of course.
John and I trained at Maz's gym, the training station in Hackensack, New Jersey. So Maz had the place in Patterson. Then
Yep.
he opened up a second place with this girl, Wendy, who was a competitor. And they opened a place called the training station in Hackensack. And Riggins and I would train there. And understand something. I knew him from the gym. I knew him from, we would go and we would, after the gym, we would go and eat all the time. Okay. I knew him like that. I think one time ever, he hit me up and like on a Saturday, we went to the Garden State Plaza. You know what I mean? So he was a gym guy. He was a guy I always trained with. He was a guy, okay. He was a big dude, okay, at the time. I would walk around at like 260, 265. He'd walk around at like 250, 255. So we trained together well. He wasn't a little short guy, so we know we had to be changing the seats on things. Like when I trained with Joe Pizzella, we were always changing seat heights and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, Riggins was like 5'11", I think, or 5'10". You know what I mean? So he wasn't a little. This is a great story. So, Riggins and I trained for a long time together, years at this place, the training station.
Okay.
It was actually a really good gym. And I would always get looks from people all the time. Like, I didn't know what was going on. And I would say to him, he lived right there. Okay. And I would say to him, bro, what's going on? Like, why do people like, oh, it's because I'm really well known around here and blah blah blah, and they just assume you and I must be like like dealing to everybody in here. And I'm like, that makes no sense.
Okay.
That's not what goes on, because you and I both know it. Because if people assume that, you're going to eventually get somebody come up to you and pull you aside and go, hey, listen, can you get me this?
Yeah, get this. Yeah, of course.
They don't look at you. So that was the first red flag. The second red flag was when he told me where he worked on the weekends as a bartender. He wasn't a bartender though, but he was a bartender. Do you remember Feathers?
Feathers and Hackensack.
I'm a bartender at Feathers. That's what he told me. So I was like, I didn't know what it was at the time. And I go, what's that? He goes, oh, it's I make really, really good money, but it's a gay bar. So I'm just like, oh, all right, like you're a bartender, whatever, whatever. Then somebody one day says to me, what the hell is his, God damn it. It was really a strange name too. They said to me, whatever his stage name was, you're training with, what's his name, right? International porn star. And I go, excuse me? And they go, it was something like Dirk, something like that. You know what I mean? And he was a male porn star with other men. He was now we just got the subject of gay for pay. So he was doing gay porn, and I mean lots of it. Okay, you can still find it online today, because I told the story to somebody down here once, and they're like, "Shut the hell up!" And I go, "Wait," and I look, and they go, "Oh my God!" And I go, "Yeah." So
Was he grooming you? Was he grooming you?
What?
Was he
I think so. So because he'd like, why don't you come down to Feathers, hang out one night? And I'd be like, nah, that's all right. So then he would be like, I have this way of I make a lot of money, bro. I make a lot of money. I'm like, well, what do you do? Oh, it's really easy. He was doing gay porn. I didn't know this. Okay?
Yeah.
I had no idea. And then eventually I found out, and listen, I've always been like this. I'm just straight up, okay? And I said to him after a workout one day, I go like this, and I just hit him like this. I go, bro, you do gay porn? And he looks at me straight faced. Yeah, you want to get into it? He wasn't like, like some people might be like, how'd you know?
Like,
who told you? Who? Yeah, you want to get into it? And I'm like, no. And so then he ended up telling me about, so he was doing the gay porn for the longest time. And then he met this woman who was a lawyer out in Long Island. And he told me, bro, I'm going to be moving out to Long Island. This was like overnight. And I was like, what? He goes, and listen, him and I still trained because he was a good training partner. So I didn't care. Like, I just told him, I was like, bro, just do me a favor. I'm like, on deep squats, just, I'm going to grab somebody else to spot me rather than you. Don't take offense to it. I would never have him, if we were doing anything like a flat dumbbell or anything, I would just be like, yo, you can move back a couple inches. You're fine. Just bend over, So he told me he was leaving, and he goes, bro, I'm moving. He goes, I got an opportunity. I go, what? He goes, I met this lawyer from Long Island. He goes, she's loaded. Now, at the time, Riggins he was a year older than me because he competed in the team jersey the year before I did. You know what I mean? So he was a year older than me. So we were late 20s, mid-20s. I'm sorry, mid-20s. He goes, yeah, man, she owns her own law firm. He goes, she's 59 years old. And we were like 25. And I go, what? Mm-hmm. I go, 59 years old? What do you, and that seems so, I didn't know the whole sugar mommy culture back then and what that was and all. And he goes, yeah, she's my mommy. And I, what? So he goes, listen, I can give up everything else. All she wants me to do is look good for her. So she told me, you just train all day long. You can hang out by the pool, work on your tan, this and that, and you're good to go. You're mine. So he did, and he moved out to Long Island, and we would keep in touch here and there, but not really. It wasn't, And then I don't know what happened with that whole thing, but eventually it fell apart after like 3 years. It's going to fall apart. And then the next thing I know, he got back into doing gay porn. And unfortunately, at Penn Station in New York, he went to Penn Station one day from Jersey. And in Penn Station, he collapsed. And he was rushed to the hospital, and he died of pneumonia.
That's weird.
Now, who dies of pneumonia a lot? People with AIDS.
AIDS, yeah.
Because if you have AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, you're very susceptible to other things. And that's what I always tell people. When people have AIDS, they don't die of AIDS. It's not that they died of AIDS. No, they die of other things. And he died of pneumonia. And apparently, it came out years and years later, he was HIV positive, and he also had AIDS, and he was still doing gay porn.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which blows your mind.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, man. Well, another great week, Garrett. Garrett, I know we got a lot of questions. People want to contact you and, get some information from you. Maybe
easiest way, I'll show you right here. Instagram, Pope Training, one word, Pope Training on Instagram. You can message me directly. You can comment on one of the things, and I'll respond to you. That's the best way to get a hold of me. Pope Training. I do paid consults for training, for nutrition, for peptides, for gear, for you name it. Okay, if it has to do with the health and fit, not gay porn, but for the health and fitness industry, I do paid consults for everything. Okay, so, and you don't have to live in this state. Okay, I do a lot of it, online. So Pope Training Instagram right there. Okay. All
right, Garrett. Well, I will see you next week. We'll have a different subject. All right, brother.
See you later, man.
I'll talk to you later, man. You got it.
Yeah. So Potter Brand Media in the building. NJ Roots, heavy bass feeling. Let's go. Started from nothing. Jersey streets, we owned it. Jay-Z pumping iron. Bodybuilder Cody. Years on the course. Athletic, mind focus. George in the boardroom, boxing mind, we know this. 3 fighters united, hustle in our veins. From basement dreams to global campaigns. A Potter Brand, we rise to the top. Zapata Brand, we guard the state, we never stop. Built from sweat, now the world knows our name. Zapata Media, remember the flame, I'm Potter Brand Media. from NJ to the world we fight on.